Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the Cozy Moth Knits podcast. My name is Caitlin, and this is a podcast dedicated to my knitting adventures and how I continue to grow my skills in knitting, and I'm just taking you along on this journey with me. Today, I am joined by my dogs. Blue, my greyhound, is not very happy to be here, but I'm joined by my dogs. You saw Blue in my last video and in one of my recent Instagram posts, but you haven't seen May, and this is May. May is a schnoodle. She's a Schnauzer Poodle mix, and she's just the sweetest little princess, and I love her so much, and I felt like she deserves some screen time too, so just wanted to show you all my other dog, May, and I'll let her get along and do what she wants to do. But yeah, so speaking of my Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram at the Cozy Moth Knits, and also on Ravelry as the Cozy Moth Knits. And my Instagram is, it could use some more followers, maybe. So if you want to follow me, that's where I'm most active. I do this podcast bi-weekly. I'm on Instagram pretty much every day. I might not post every day, but I try to interact with people on it every day. So again, that's the Cozy Moth Knits on Instagram and on Ravelry. So I have a lot to cover today. I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of stuff and I just wanted to, a lot has happened in the past 2 weeks, so I wanted to catch you up on that. But first, we have some very important business to get to, and that is selecting the winners of the giveaway. And in my last video, I talked about how, I talked about how we had hit 100 subscribers. At the time I was filming, we had hit like 300, or the time I posted we had hit 500 or something along those lines, which is absolutely crazy to me. But we are going to draw names for the winners of these 2 lovely skeins of yarn. So yeah, I'm gonna get started with that now. Thank you for everyone who commented and I love reading all your comments about what your favorite thing about fall was. So I'm going to hit my randomize button and we'll see what number we get. All right, so first one is number 114. And that is Barbara Hewitt. Yay! So Barbara, you're gonna get the skein of the, which one was this? The Fireworks in the Snocknado fingering yarn. So congratulations. I'm gonna be sending this to you your way. Send me an email to this send me an email to this email right here, and you know, send me all like your mailing information, and you'll be getting this in the mail along with some extra goodies. All right, now we're going to pick the next one. All right, number 74. And this is Hannah Hibbard. Oh my God, yay. And she's gonna get the Ashes and Embers colorway. So yay, happy times. And again, you ladies will be getting some little extras in the in your 100 subscriber giveaway. So congratulations to you guys. And with that being said, since I last posted, we have surpassed 1,000 subscribers. I don't know how it happened, but it did. So we got another giveaway coming, and wait till the end of the video and I'll talk more about that. It's a little bit bigger and it has like a really cool story behind it, so I'll talk more about that soon. So before we move on to the giveaway and like all the other things, so I guess we'll get things started with, I don't have any FOs today, I just have whips. So we'll get things started with that. All right, so the first whip I have, I feel like I've done so much work on my Soul Tank, but like it looks like I barely touched it. So much time spent on this. It'll probably be ready by next summer. But yeah, here's what I got so far with my Soul Tank. Ooh, don't want it to come off the needles. I'm supposed to knit 15 inches of this, I believe. I have to look at the pattern again. 15 inches, and then I section off for the straps. So it's gonna take some time, but I'm slowly getting there. Like I said, it'll probably be ready by next spring or next summer at the rate that I'm going with this. I'm still loving the Undine yarn. It's a fun pattern to knit up. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the lace work. I think it looks great. What do you think? Not 100% perfect, of course, but I like it. And when it's far away, like I mentioned, it looks pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited to be able to wear this eventually. Yeah. So that's whip number 1. I'm cutting off the top of my head, so a little bit better. Whip number 1. Whip number 2. I have a bed right here, so everything's like spread out on the bed. Whip number 2 is my Cozy Classic Raglan. Oh my god, I'm loving it. As I mentioned before, loving it. And I went a size up because I prefer like more oversized sweaters. Maybe I'm self-conscious or something, but I love the baggy sweater look. So here's what I got. And I bound off for the ribbing at the bottom. I didn't do the tubular bind off because it mentioned Kitchener stitch. Is that what? Kitchener stitch? And it scared me. She was like, do this one or your favorite stretchy bind off. So I did my favorite stretchy bind off. I'm sure once I block it, that like wavy look will go away. But I've tried it on and it fits well. Again, I'm loving this color. It's so cozy. Just like the couple times I've like slipped it over my head just to see what it looks like. I'm getting excited. So I just have the sleeves to go. And I think I'm gonna do a bubble sleeve modification because one of my favorite sweaters to wear in fall has a small bubble sleeve. And I think I've seen people make that modification on Instagram. I'm sure I have, which is probably why I thought of it. But that's what I want to do with this one. Makes it a little more fancy, I think. Can I just like wear it like this all the time? I love it. I can't wait to, I'll probably tonight, we're gonna watch another spooky movie tonight, and our spooky movie, and I'll probably pick up for the sleeves and get that started. But yeah. So at the time of me filming, it's October 1st, and I'm all ready, as you can tell by the little pumpkins on my shirt. I am ready. I've got my Vampy color nail polish. I have, you know, a couple fall things outside, and I'm so excited. This season is just one of my favorites. So that's whip number 2. I feel like I'm breezing past these, but like the past like 2 videos, you've kind of already seen them. But this is a brand new one, and it's a pair of socks. And it's a Christmas present, and I don't want to give away too much. I guess I'll talk more about it come like December. But like I mentioned in the last sock that I showed last episode, I'm pretty sure the person who I'm giving this sock to is not watching my podcast. So I think I'm safe. But so this is the Arne & Carlos, look at my Kanban board again, the Arne & Carlos Mette sock, M-E-T-T-A or M-E-T-T-E in Norwegian or Scandinavian or whatever. So I'm not sure what inflection I should use, but yeah, here's what it's looking like so far. Oh, it looks really good on camera because I've been looking at it upside down like this. I'm like, this looks a little weird, even though it's supposed to be worn like this. It's a long leg, but I like it a lot. Look, they look like little flowers. It's kind of weird for like a Christmas sock, I guess, but I think it looks awesome. And I'm about to turn the heel, or no, this isn't a, yeah, I'm about to turn the heel. It's going to be a German short row heel. That's what all the Arden Carlos socks, most of them have. And this is knit up in a Regia Premium Silk. Because I like to bring my knitting on the go. So I don't have like the full skeins with me. I just like roll up like enough and stick it in my little bag. Yeah, I'm loving these colors. And I think it looks really cool. And obviously once I block it and everything, it won't look as lumpy. But I'm proud of it. And it'll be a fun like cozy sock to wear on Christmas Day, even though it has like little tulips or something on it. But it's, you know, like Christmas around the world, it's not always, you know, snow and Christmas trees and everything. Like, you know, think about our, you know, friends in the Southern Hemisphere. Like, it's not winter during Christmas, it's summer. So it's a little, I guess you can think about it that way. Like, oh, don't forget, you know, our friends in like Australia where it's, you know, hot. But yeah, that's my sock. And by the way, thank you so much for all the comments when I was talking about my my Mountain Mama socks. One of you commented, I can't remember who it was, I'm so sorry. You were like, oh, next time, like, I'm sure it's like too late now, but you know, size up in your needles and then that won't cause like such a problem. And of course, like, duh, because like all the socks that I've been making for Christmas, the Arden Carlos patterns, I normally knit on a size US 1, and this is a US 2.5. So of course it like makes sense, you know, you use colorwork, you're going to use larger needles. Now, of course, it's too late, but going forward, I will make sure to size up in needles. I don't know what brand needles these are, by the way. They were kind of in like a kit that I bought on Amazon a couple of years ago. It was like sizes like 0 to like 3, I think, of DPNs. And like I've knit on them so much that like any sort of like branding has like faded away. So unfortunately I don't know the name of these. I'm sorry. They're all right. They're kind of like plasticky, I guess. One of them broke on me. One of my size ones broke and I was really annoyed because I was in the middle of something that I was really into, and then it snapped. And I think it was at like a slow point in my work day or something, or like I hadn't clocked in yet, or I was like at the office and I clocked out. I don't know what the story was, but I was like knitting and I'm like, no. So I work as like a secretary or a receptionist, so all I had was like tape, like wrap tape around it. I might still have it somewhere, but yeah, that was a tragedy because sometimes I guess I can get pretty aggressive with my knitting. So those are my whips. Yeah, hopefully, well, I know by next episode I should have at least 1.5 of these socks done. But yeah, sorry there's no FOs this week. A lot of things were happening. You know, the Cozy Classic Raglan. I was like so focused on that and trying to get as much of that done as possible. I didn't even touch my Soul Tank this week. I was focused on the Cozy Classic Raglan, and then I cast on the socks last Sunday because I just wanted to get them done. Like that's the last pair of socks in like the set of socks that I'm making for Christmas. So I just like want to get it done and not have to worry about that during Christmas. No tea today, just water. I'm one of those people who covers their hydro flask and stickers. I know. Just want a quick shout out. It's a little like scuffed up, but this one, the Delaware Beaches one, you know, it's like kind of looks like a White Claw. My sister made this. So I'm going to link her down below. And she also made the, I don't know if I'm going to put a watermark on this video or the next one, but I know she definitely made the thumbnail for this video, and she is incredibly talented and great graphic designer. And if you need any sort of graphic designing work, I'll link her down below. She's so talented, and I'm not just saying that because she's my sister. She really is talented and does such a great job, and she's dedicated and passionate about it. So yeah, she has stickers. on Redbubble. Oh, and she also, I'll just show it next time, but Ratatouille is her favorite Disney movie, or at least favorite Pixar movie. So she made a design that Redbubble puts on a like on a tote bag. So it's you know, at the end of the movie when Remy, sorry, spoiler alert, Remy, the rat, opens up his own restaurant. It's kind of like a quick glimpse into what happens after, you know, Gusteau's restaurant, and it's called La Ratatouille, and it has a little sign on it. And so Michaela, my sister, took that and like put her own little spin to it, and then put it on this tote bag. And I got one. Like, she messaged me and like, look what I just made, and I bought it immediately. And I take it to my local farmers market, and people are like, oh, you know, Ratatouille, that's so cute, and you know, people love it. So go support her if you would like. Again, I'll link all her stuff down below. I'm so proud of her. But yeah, where was I going with that? So I don't have any FOs, but I have a ton of acquisitions. So first thing I want to start off with is something that like kind of happened randomly, but I'm kind of happy it did. So yesterday, I'm filming this on, so like this past Wednesday, filming this on a Thursday, my mom messaged me. She sent me a screenshot because she's on a local Facebook group that I'm not on for some reason. I guess because it just kind of like spams up my timeline, and I don't really want to see like that sort of stuff. But I wasn't part of it, but she sent me a screenshot that someone was looking for someone to knit one Christmas stocking, because the person who was knitting all that stuff like can't do it anymore, and like they have a new addition to their family, and they wanted to give them a stocking for their first Christmas. So my mom sent me the screenshot, and I was like, tag me. So I got into the group and I messaged the lady, and we hit it off. And so now I'm knitting this Christmas stocking for basically this stranger. And it's cool. So she met up with me today, and she like provided everything for me, the yarn and stuff, and you know, an example of, I'm not going to show it, but an example of one of their Christmas stockings, which I think was so cool. And the pattern is like vintage. I don't know from what year, but it's a Burnett yarn pattern. Doesn't say what year, but it's clearly vintage, like maybe 80s, maybe the 80s or 70s. So I'm excited to get this started. I told her I'd have it done before Thanksgiving, and you know, like stocking's just a big sock, right? And one thing that I noticed, they have a little jingle bell on it, which I found to be interesting, and I'm not going to show the whole thing because it has a person's name on it, but it's a heel flap and gusset, which I wouldn't think for a stocking. I would think like a German short row heel, but I was like, well, that's cool. I never would have considered that, but I like it. So we'll see how it goes. It's just like a DK weight or a worsted weight with some color work, classic Christmas colors, and then I have to knit in the new addition to the family's their name on it. So I'm looking forward to that. It should be a fun, challenging project, because again, like this is an old pattern and I'm used to like more, you know, modern stuff. So it'll be a bit of a challenge, like a good challenge, if she's like watching, because I told her to follow me if she wanted, but I can handle it. It's not going to be something that I can't handle, but it's just going to be, you know, something really cool and new for me to do. But I thought that was like, I don't know, I just thought it was just a cool opportunity for me to, you know, do this for someone. I mean, I'm getting paid, but still, like, I'm happy to do this for someone. You know, my Enneagram 2 is coming out, you know, like wanting to help people. So there's that. And then next is, so I am involved at my church, my local church. And I am a youth leader with my husband. And one of our youths, we kind of like, we're kind of like good, we're like pals, you know, like I was homeschooled, she's homeschooled, like, you know, or you know, she's an old soul. Like, if like some of you guys say that I'm an old soul, like I've seen you in the comments, like, yes, I agree with that, but she is an old soul. Like, she is like she loves all the old stuff. Like, she loves watching, you know, like, you know, old westerns, and you know, she's just the sweetest thing, and I love her so much. And my last time we had youth group, it's like every other week, I took out my Cozy Classic Raglan, and I was, you know, just knitting the body. And she was like, "Oh, you knit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And she's like, "I crochet." I'm like, "Oh, that's super cool." And she's like, "I crochet, but my dad is allergic to wool. Like, if he touches it, you know, it breaks out in hives or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, that's such a shame." Like, I know a couple people like that, and I always feel bad. So then it's like, well, what can I make for them? I guess it would have to be an acrylic. But she was like, "I have some good yarn that I would love to share with you if you would like." And I was like, "Oh, sweetheart." Like, sure, if you want to, you know. So she gave me a bunch. First is this this like bulky or worsted weight alpaca maybe, but like, look how fuzzy that is. I think I'm gonna make, because like in my last episode I talked about the Warm the Line. I might make a hat or two out of this. And she's in 7th grade, but she's very mature, and I think if I told her what I made this out, I know she would appreciate it. So we got that. We got this it's very pretty, lovely speckled made in Turkey. It's acrylic, polyester, nylon. What size would this be? Worsted? Yeah, it would be like a worsted weight. Yeah, like a cute little, and again, it can make it for a good hat, or a baby hat, or a baby sweater or something. And there's this one, which I think is really pretty. I'm such a sucker for like these mustardy goldenrod colors, and it has like some nice little black and white speckles in it. It's lovely. I could see it's like a fingering weight. It's like in between fingering and DK maybe. But I could see me using this, see myself using this for like heels and toes on socks. And some wild looking, not my color palette, but I'm sure I could find something to make out of this. Maybe definitely like it's sock weight. I can make some socks for somebody. And then this little bit of alpaca, it looks like maybe she got it from like a thrift store or something, because it's definitely vintage. 60% baby alpaca, 25% super kid mohair, and 15% wool, lane wool. So that's pretty cool. And it kind of matches with my Cozy Classic Raglan. Like, this is just a little bit lighter. Look at that. Maybe like for a brim of a hat or something, like something a little bit extra fluffy. I like it. And then she gave me some cotton, some pink and purple cotton. I like this one a lot. This mauve, it'd be really pretty. I'll find something to make out of these, because she was just so sweet and generous to gift me all this yarn. So yeah, those are like accidental acquisitions. So in addition to those gifts, or like accidental acquisitions, because I guess the one isn't a gift, I also went hog wild, and spent a bunch of money on notions. So I have a basket full of them. And the first is a pair of sock blockers. They're from Sunrise Grove Knittery, or I think I have dyslexia. I know I have dyslexia. Sunrise Grove Knittery, and they're from the Pacific Northwest. And I saw they were from the Pacific Northwest, and as someone who just finished a vacation there, anything that comes from over there, I'm like, I buy it up. Just like when I went to Colorado a couple years ago, anything that was made in Colorado, I'm like, I'm supporting them. So they're acrylic, and they have a fun little design to them. I'll slip a sock on it one of my smaller socks that I made for someone. Another Christmas sock. And I doubt that I don't think that they're watching. But if they are watching, sorry, surprise. Not gonna say who it's for, obviously. But yeah, look at that. Now, like when I show you guys socks, they won't just be floppy. You can actually see what they look like. And this one needs to be blocked. These are the Arne and Carlos Hele socks, H-E-L-E, in Stratemeyer Premium Yak. So they're a little bit more sturdy than the silk, but it's cool. It's like a cool little Fair Isle. This was a lot of fun to make. So that's how sock blockers work. You put a sock on them. So there's these guys, and to continue with the Sunrise Grove, not Groove, Sunrise. So I learned, speaking of groove, there is an alpaca farm like a couple miles from my house, and they're called New Groove Alpaca Farms. And I told my sister, and she's like, we have to go visit these alpacas, and one of the alpacas' name is Cusco. And I'm just so happy. And yes, I need to go visit them immediately. So continuing with the Sunrise Grove, I got these. I was feeling really cottagecore, and I got some stitch markers. So here, they're like little mushrooms. And I just thought it was like super cool, and it just makes me think of I live close to Kennett Square in Pennsylvania. In that area, I always mix it up with Pennsylvania or New Jersey because they're like so close to each other. But it's Kennett Square, Pennsylvania, and all they're wild about their mushrooms. There's a whole lot of mushroom farms out there. So when you go into like little stores, you find like mushroom blankets and like mushroom paraphernalia. So I got these little mushrooms. I thought they were fun. They were different. Like I like mushrooms. I like eating mushrooms. I like eating mushrooms. Not, taking them for psychedelic purposes. I enjoy a mushroom quiche or whatever. So again, New Grove Knittery, or no, Sunrise Grove Knittery, Wild Mushroom Foraging Stitch Markers. Again, Pacific Northwest. They're cute. I'm looking forward to using them. Put these to the side. Next is, I intend on knitting a lot of stuff for Christmas presents, and I got this wooden stamp. I can't remember. I forgot to grab who made it, but I'll put it right here. The people who made the stamp, and I haven't tested it out yet. I'm a little scared. I haven't gone out and bought ink yet, but it says "Handmade with Love" by Caitlin. I'm gonna block out my my last name. It's hard to see, but maybe next episode or something I'll show you. Yeah, and then I have a little moth stamp coming in, to go with the brand, and I don't think I ever explained like why I call myself the Cozy Moth Knits. So it's kind of like a inside joke with my husband and me. I've always like found moths to be interesting, like they're kind of cool, because everyone loves butterflies. I'm like, but no one like really appreciates the moths. Like, you think of little kids, little kids see a butterfly and they think it's great, but then once they see a moth, like they get scared. So I feel like moths need some love. But it kind of became like an inside joke with my husband and I. Every time we saw a moth, like we pointed it out and admired the moth, because my husband's the type of person to admire insects and reptiles and like creepy crawly things. And so we would always, sorry if you hear someone's lawnmower or weed whacker. what can you do? But yeah, and I was talking to my husband about, you know, building like a knitting brand. And I'm like, well, what can I do? And like, cause I mentioned that I like bees, and I was like, I kind of want to do something with bees, but like, there's all kinds of bee related knitting stuff. And I was like, well, what about moths? I'm like, well, I guess moths like eat knitting. They eat, like, you know, like you like put your clothes into storage for a while, and then the moths will eat it or whatever. But I just like the way it sounded, and I like moths a lot, and I just figured make the Cozy Moth Knits, and cozy like knitting, and you know, so that's why I call myself the Cozy Moth Knits. It isn't anything too extravagant, but that's a little behind the scenes. So yeah, there's my stamp. I'm just holding it. Next, I went crazy with stitch markers. I don't know why, but I did. Next is some stitch markers by Woolen Witch. She is located in the UK. And I'm using one of her stitch markers on my Cozy Classic Raglan. I'll pull it out. Here they are. I thought they were like cool and witchy. So, you know, I don't know if you can, there. By the way, I don't subscribe to like any sort of pagan religion, but I just find it to be cool. I like, you know, I like that aesthetic. And then she gave me a little extra rose, which I thought was pretty. And let me pull out that other stitch marker, because this was the reason why I bought this set. If I can find it. All right, it's a moth. Let's see, will it? Maybe, I don't know. It's a moth, you know. So basically anything that has a moth on it, I'm getting it. So I was using it as like a little progress keeper, and I really like it a lot. And I've been gravitating, I guess unintentionally, to like wooden stitch markers. They're cool. Sometimes they can be a little too big, at least with this one. I mean, they're still beautiful. I'm still gonna use them, obviously. But yeah, and then they come in a little pouch. I'm happy with them. Put this back. I'm still using my sock size twisted yarn and fiber bag. I'm just like stuffing my sweater in there. I ordered a sweater sized project bag a while ago, but it's taking a long time to ship. Next episode, I should have it. I ordered 2 from them at different times. So, oh, and then the Woolen Witch sent these little stickers. I'm a sucker for stickers. I just need to find the right place to put these on. Then, I've been waiting anxiously for this creator to update her Etsy shop. This is the Woolen Forest, Forest Charm. She's at forestcharm.etsy.com. And I mentioned how I like her knitting podcast before. Look how cool that, I love it, so beautiful. So she did an update, so I indulged. And she packed every order. I follow her Instagram. She packed every order with a little thing of tea, and this is maple apple cider, and I'm excited to give this a try. I just had my first pumpkin spice latte of the year last night, and that's all I'm gonna drink for the next month. It's so good. So let me show you these stitch markers. I bought 3 sets of them. So first one is these little guys. One is a progress keeper, and 2 are stitch markers with little pumpkins with I think this is a rose quartz. They're just so pretty, and again, like super witchy. I like it a lot. And they're like small and dainty. They're so sweet. So there's those. these. Just gorgeous. I love the hexagon, or hexagon? Yes, I believe. It's the hexagon shape of these. I just think they're very pretty. It has a little leaf on it. Another Progress Keeper. And then last one, don't fall. Last one is this little pine cone. So cute. It'd be perfect for like Christmas. So yeah, go give the Woolen Forest a follow, and keep an eye out for her updates, because she makes gorgeous works of art, as you can see. And lastly, which kind of leads into the giveaway, kind of. I'm not going to get to it quite yet. It kind of leads into the giveaway is my husband bought me a bunch of yarn. Blue just left, my dog. She's gotten tired of hearing me talk. My husband bought me a bunch of Bumblebee Acres Farm yarn, and it's very fall. And I am excited to knit something up with this. It is the Bumblebee Acres Squishy DK in blue. She says, I've had enough of hearing you talk. But it's Bumblebee Acres Squishy DK in Harvest Moon, and look at this. Look. It's so beautiful. So he bought me 3 skeins of this, and unknowingly, I was telling him because they had just released everything, and or their latest fall update, I should say. And I'm like, I'm holding back on it. Like, I'm not gonna go crazy. Like, I just bought all these notions. Like, they're gorgeous. But I kept seeing this, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go for it. So I was texting my husband because I knew that he had bought a bunch of stuff, and I'll get to that later. And I was like, I'm thinking about getting some of this yarn and making like a 3/4 sleeve sweater from it. Hopefully I have enough. Oh my god. I have to double check that. And he's like, well, I already got you 3 skeins of it. And I was like, what? No way. Great minds think alike. So, but I knew 3 skeins wasn't going to be enough for a sweater, maybe a t-shirt. So I went to order more, and they only had 1 skein left. So I guess 1 skein is better than none. So I'm going to cake all this up, and because I have a fall festival coming up at the end of October, and I would love to have something to wear. It would be great if I could knit this up to have to wear for that event. So maybe in the next episode I'll have something put together. So those are my acquisitions. There's a crap ton of them. Maybe some people will say too many, maybe I'm going too crazy, but I joke around with my husband. I'm like, listen, I'm a knitting podcaster now, so I have to buy all this stuff, right? But another big acquisition I bought, and hasn't come in yet, I read all your comments and all your concerns and all your private messages, and I ordered a set of interchangeable circular needles. Finally. I just kept telling myself it was too expensive and maybe I shouldn't, I'll just buy, individual ones. But I have a whole drawer behind me of various sizes of knitting needles. And a couple of you asked me what type of knitting needles I use. So for a while, I was exclusively a bamboo knitting needle person. I do use bamboo needles for socks, primarily. The yarn holds onto it better, and there's less, to me at least, and there's less of a chance of the yarn slipping off. If I was just to throw it in my little project bag, there's less of a chance of the yarn just slipping off. So I was exclusively going to Michael's and Joann Fabrics and getting the Clover bamboo needles. They were a bit more expensive than like I can't remember the name of the brand. But like, you know, when you go to Michael's, there's like one brand of metal needles. And there's one brand of metal needles, and then there's the Clover bamboo needles. And like, this is what I normally got. And they're fine, but I used to do metal needles as well before. I just like the feel of the bamboo. But then one day I was looking for something. I was looking for a very specific size needle, and I couldn't find it in bamboo. So I just went, fine, I'll just get these Addi needles. They were metal, not these, but I'm just using this as an example. And I love them. These are the needles that I use. These are my preferred needles, the Addi. Specifically the Addi Turbo or the Addi Lace. They are my favorite, and this is what I knit most of my projects on, except if they're socks, then they're bamboo by whoever, probably by Clover. A lot of people love the ChiaoGoo circulars, and I just can't get into it. I think what it is that, at least the ones that I've tried, the ChiaoGoo is like a brushed nickel, and when they rub up against each other, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I can't do it. They're great, they're super sturdy, but like just that like little noise, like even now, it's like chills down my spine. I don't like it. So yeah, just not a fan with those. But like with the Addis, they're stainless steel. I broke the bag. Whoops. And I do keep all my bags so I can like keep them together. But the Addi ones, they're stainless steel, so there's less of a chance of that friction, you know, a little bit more quiet. I will use ChiaoGoo, like I bought those ChiaoGoo needles because like they didn't have it in the Addi or whatever, or they had it in the Addi, but it would have like, they weren't Prime. I couldn't order them through Prime and get them the next day, and I wanted to continue a certain project, and yeah, now I can't get these back in. But yeah, so that's my preferred, and I ordered a set of Addi, the Addi short lace interchangeable needles. They haven't come in yet. They should be coming in this weekend. But so next episode I'll use my Addi interchangeables and I'll talk to you about them. So I hope that answers some of your questions as to what needles I use. I know it's super exciting. And another thing that you guys were interested in, because I mentioned my Kanban board and the ways that I organize my knitting. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. So first thing that I started doing was, if you guys are interested, I have a physical planner, and it is a Hobonichi cousin. And if you want me to talk about Hobonichi and my planner system, I can do that. This doesn't have to be only knitting. I can have it, you know, because I just ordered my 2020 or 2021 Hobonichi stuff and it came in, and I considered talking about it last podcast, but I don't know if you all are interested in such things. But if you are, I'll do a little segment about what I got. It's not too much, but so first of all, my handwriting is not pretty. It's not the greatest. But so the first thing I was doing was, I have a little extra booklet in the back of my holder, my sleeve, my jacket. That's the right word, jacket. And I was writing down all the projects that I had and putting a little check mark by them, and then just checking them off as I went. Like I still do it, because I'm the type of person who loves checking things off, and that's like my motivation, is to check things off, even if it's like little things. Like if I show you like my planner, there's a lot of little things like send so-and-so a text, or you know, get this little project done, just so I can check it off and I feel accomplished. So yeah, I have, that's what I'm doing to keep track of the stuff that I have in mind for knitting right now, stuff that I want to knit, stuff that I have yarn for, and that's what this page is for, stuff that I have yarn for, and same with the Kanban. Like, I already have everything I need for the project, I just need to do it. This isn't a dream knitting thing. I do have a little separate, I haven't updated it recently, but it was like a knitting bucket list. Oh, and these are more stickers from my sister, by the way. I'm trying to hold it back so you don't see it because it has like people's names on them. But yeah, like this was something that I thought I was gonna do, but like I ran out of time, so I crossed it out. Like stuff on here that like I wanted to learn to do, like I have a sweater, I have a cardigan, a shawl, afterthought heel socks, you know, like different types of socks, because I did this in the beginning of the year. I started it. You know, a bralette, the soul tank. Like I have like stuff that I want to learn how to knit, and it's kind of like my dream knitting section. So that is my written portion of I also have my podcast notes. The written portion of my knitting organization. And next, I'm going to pick you up. And next is my Kanban board. Again, I'm so sorry for my handwriting. And for those of you who don't know what a Kanban board is, you have 3 columns. You have to do, in progress, and finished. And the idea of a Kanban board interests me so much, so I figured I would do it for my knitting just for the heck of it. And it's on the back of my door. It's broken up with like some butterfly washi tape. But let's see. So stuff that I have yarn for, stuff that I want to do, stuff that I'm working on, and then my finished stuff. So that's what I do, and then when I'm done, I just take it down and I move it to my finished section, and it's just I lost it, but it's just a fun way to keep track of your knitting stuff. Maybe not on the back of a door. A lot of people have like whiteboards, but I didn't have a whiteboard in the house, and this is like my knitting room, so I just put it all there. So for those of you who are wondering about that, there you go. And maybe you guys do the same thing. I know someone was saying who was also in the library, well, I say also as if I'm currently in a library right now, but someone who is in a library field, she said that she has like all of her yarn and her projects and stuff cataloged, and I love that. And as someone who's in the cataloging track, I should probably step up my game and do the same thing, but I haven't done it yet. Life's a little busy right now and I haven't had a chance to do that, but maybe soon I'll get to that. And if I do, I will show you guys. So those are like, that's it for like the interesting things. And last thing is the 1,000 subscribers giveaway information. So let me tell ya. So everything has been going so fast and I don't know why you guys like me so much. Why you guys like me? What's not to like, right? But I am just overwhelmed by the response and the love and the encouragement that you guys have given me on YouTube, and you know, seeing you guys, you know, come over from YouTube and follow me on Instagram and say, hey, I just watched your podcast, I really like it, you know, super cool. And the fact that we have hit 1,000 subscribers is something that I could not, like, I never would imagine would happen. I thought that, I kind of mentioned in my, you know, my last episode that maybe I get like, you know, like 30 subscribers, or, and like they're all people that I know, and you know, like, you know, family members, and like, oh yay, Caitlin, you got your podcast, you know, super cool. But no one would really like be interested in me. But the fact that I've surpassed 1,000 subscribers, and I will probably surpass 1,100 subscribers by the time, like based on the growth that I've seen by the time I post this, I mean, it's just amazing. And I'm really thankful for you guys, and to show my appreciation for you, I'm doing another giveaway. So when I hit about 500 subscribers, I was texting my husband. I'm like, I've surpassed 500. Like, oh, this is so exciting. I'm gonna have to do another giveaway, you know, jokingly, but actually I was planning to. I'm like, I have to do another giveaway. I'm just not sure with what yet, like what I would include. And my husband texts me back. He's like, don't worry about it. I got you covered. I'm like, what do you mean you got me covered? And he's like, I've been watching your progress too, and I know you're gonna hit 1,000 subscribers by the time you post your next podcast based on, you know, how things are going. So I bought a bunch of stuff for you to give away, and it was such a sweet surprise. And so this giveaway is sponsored by my husband. There are a couple things that I threw in there too, but most like the stuff is my husband. I'm just putting it in this bag, this Muji bag, but just to hold everything. So the first thing is he's so sweet. He like doesn't know like much about this community, but first thing we got is a crochet hook. And so that way I'm not eliminating my friends out there who crochet. It is a, I don't know, a US 4E 5 inches. Does that make any sense? 3.50 millimeter. It's a cute little, it's like, has a wooden handle. It's got like a gold hook. I thought it was cool, and it could be used for finishing things if you're not a crocheter. Like, I don't know. It could be useful to a lot of people. Not me personally. I've only ever used a crochet hook in my knitting once, because I have such a mental block with crocheting. I think because if I'm thinking about this correctly, you hold the yarn in your left hand, right? And I hold my yarn in my right hand, and maybe that's why I get tripped up. And because I know people can be like ambidextrous when it comes to knitting and crocheting, but I can't wrap my head around it. I can't wrap my head around it. My husband's home, I think. Yes. So speak as a devil. Okay. So we got this crochet hook. Next is a little notions pouch that I ordered from Twisted Yarn and Fiber, and it has bees on it because you know me and my bees. And I thought that it was like neutral enough that it could be used year round, right? Like it's not like strictly fall, strictly spooky, strictly, you know, winter, summer, whatever. But it's pretty cool. And Twisted Yarn and Fiber on the back. Bags and Notions. So you got this, and it has a fun little yellow insert. And then I decided to include some of the Sunrise Grove Knittery yarn or stitch markers. So she gave me some extra ones as like a gift, but I already have so many. So I figured that I would send these along your way. So we got yourselves a butterfly, we got an owl, we got a little crescent moon, and I threw in one of the mushrooms in there too. So fun little wooden stitch markers. Put these in this bag. And then the grand finale is more yarn. So you will get 3 skeins of the Bumblebee Acres Squishy DK in Red Barn in Autumn. Look at how pretty. Like, it's gorgeous. It's comparable to the Fireworks, I think, but there's slight differences. But So you get 4 skeins of this, so it can make, you know, a nice size shawl or a little t-shirt or tank top, or you know, I'm sure you guys could find something to make with 3 skeins of DK yarn. Each skein is about 250 yards, and I'm sure you guys can find something to do with that. So that is what you would get in the giveaway. And here are the rules. I'll go over them, and hopefully I don't have to go back and edit myself in again. So first, US only, like I said, because like the last giveaway, because of COVID restrictions, and I don't want there to be a chance of you guys losing, you know, like stuff being lost in the mail or being withheld for a long time because of COVID restrictions, stuff coming from the US. I know some European countries, I think Germany especially. I work with someone who is from or has family in Germany, so that's why I know. I mean, they might have been lifted since she mentioned something, but I don't know. I know some countries aren't accepting stuff received from the US because of COVID. Next is that you have to, so one, US only. 2, you have to be a subscriber. 3, comment down below in the comments what your favorite knitting or needlework gift you've ever received was. For example, like I mentioned earlier, you know, my husband gifted me this beautiful yarn, and like every once in a while because he knows I like Bumblebee Acres, so every once in a while he'll go on Bumblebee Acres and buy me a skein or 2 or 3 or 4 of a color work that I mentioned that I really liked, and he'll surprise me with, and it'll come in, and he'll always write to the ladies and gentlemen out there and say, like, you know, I'm getting this for my wife, she really likes you guys, and it's sweet. But anything gifted from my husband, because he knows what I like, and he's starting to learn more about the knitting way of things, yarn weight and yardage and everything in colors. Anything that's gifted from him and is something that like I didn't ask for, it was like a surprise, that's my favorite kind of knitting gift. So yeah, comment down below what your favorite knitting or needlework related gift is. And then as an extra, follow me on Instagram, send me a DM on Instagram that you came from YouTube, and tell me your name so that I can add you in. It'll be easier for me to add your extra name to the list. So this giveaway will go from Sunday, October 4th to, I'm looking down my calendar, to let's say Thursday, October 15th. So that's it's like 10 days. And then again, hopefully I can send it out your way and you can get it before the end of October and start knitting something up. And like I mentioned before, you know, whoever wins, there's only going to be 1 winner instead of 2. Whoever wins this, you know, tag me on Instagram what you're working on, tell me what you would make from this, or what you plan on making from this. I would love to see it. So I think that is it for today. Thank you so much for visiting with me. I've noticed you guys, you know, saying, you know, it was great visiting with me, you know, after I mentioned in my last episode how I like that little greeting or sentiment. I appreciate you sitting and visiting with me, and thank you again so much for 1,000 subscribers. It really means the world to me, and so I look forward to visiting with you again soon, and stay safe out there, keep on knitting, and I will see you all later.